Good morning, everyone. Thank you for attending today's meeting through Microsoft Teams. I hope everyone at home is safe. Before we begin the meeting, allow me to introduce myself. I am Tan Sri Yusuf Jalil as the chairman of this meeting. I would like to start the meeting right away so we don't have to waste our time. Ms. Fauzana, could you please confirm the presence of the director based on the Microsoft Teams?
Sure, Tan Sri. Following a review of attendance, Mrs. Anita Hashim will be unable to attend this meeting due to her hospitalization for COVID-19. The 5 remaining members are stated in our constitution are all present, so we shall continue our meeting.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Fauzana. Can we proceed with the meeting now?
Noted, Tan Sri.
You may proceed, Ms. Fauzana. Before we start the meeting, I want to mention what we accept in the prior minute of the meeting. Due to the presence of the required quorum, the meeting is now called by order by me. I would like to start the meeting by introducing some of other directors. First is Dato' Mukhtar Haji Dasuki, Yo Waso, Puan Sri Lim Tei, and Mr. Nathan Nair.
Alright, Tan Sri. Later on during the voting procedure, please raise your hand in front of Microsoft Teams screen when Tan Sri call out your name for the vote on resolution. So does anyone have a query? If not, I will pass back to the Tan Sri.
Thank you, Ms. Fauzana. Actually, the reason for today's meeting is to introduce certain important decisions for a specific agenda in our organization. Could you kindly describe our agenda for today, Ms. Fauzana?
Yes, my pleasure, Tan Sri. So today's agenda is follow. The first agenda is to get director approval for audit financial statement. Second is approval report or statement related to financial statement. Third is re-election of director. Next is fee or benefit to the director. Number 5 is resignation, appointment and fixed remuneration of the auditor. Number 6 is to get authority to issue share pursuant to section 75 and 76 of the Company Act 2016. Number 7 is amendment of constitution. Number 8 is indemnity. Number 9 is discussion on letter of demand. Number 10 is resolution to hold AGM and authorize the secretary to issue notice. And the last agenda for today is review of notice of AGM and EGM.
Okay, for first agenda is to review and approve the audited financial statement for the fiscal year ending 2021. I will delegate this item to Puan Sri Lim to explain the greater detail.
Thank you, Tan Sri. Our financial statement is presented in a true and fair view as claimed by the auditor.
Can you go into details about this?
Literally, the accompanying financial statement give a fair, true and a fair view of the financial position of the group and of the company as of 30 September 2021 and their financial performance. The cash flow for the financial year then ended in accordance with MFRS, IFRS, and requirement of the Companies Act 2016 in Malaysia.
Thank you, Puan Sri Lim, for your explanations. Aside from that, I would like to inquire about the revenue and expenses incurred last year.
So after being audited by the auditor team, Maju Vertiga Berhad had increased revenue from contracts with customers by RM 655 million 621,902 ringgit Malaysia compared to previous year. However, we cannot achieve the profit target as the expenses incurred in 2021 increased by 78 million 712,000 791 ringgit Malaysia, and this might be one of the reasons behind our loss. So in the meantime, the group is required to assess each of its contract with the customer to determine whether performance obligations are satisfied over the time or at point in time in order to select appropriate method for recognizing revenue. So the group recognize revenue over time. In some circumstances, there are 3 obligations which are the customer simultaneously receive and consume the benefit provided by the group performance. The second one is our company does not create any asset with an alternative to use the group and has an enforceable right to payment for the performance completed to the date. And the third one is the group performance creates or enhance an asset that the customer control as the asset is created or enhanced. So if the above criteria are not met, revenue is recognized at a point in time and the group assess each contract with customer to determine when the performance obligation of the group under contract is satisfied.
Thank you, Puan Srini, for your explanations about our audited financial accounting. I completely understand. Do any director have any question?
No, not from me. Country. Country has made a clear. I'm also quite confident that Datuk Mosa will certify this report for distribution to our shareholder for the upcoming AGM.
Yes, same goes for me. I also not have any question and are clear with the clarification that made by Puan Sri Lim. At the same time, I also already went through the audited financial statement and found it to be relevant, accurate, and yeah, should be approved.
Okay, since most of us agree to approve the audit financial statement, I intend to introduce a resolution with a voting process. So please raise your hand if you agree that the audited financial account should be released to general public. Okay, so based on the voting, it seems like everyone agreed to approve the audited financial statement, Tan Sri.
Finally, I announce that the resolutions to approve the company audited financial statement for the fiscal year ending 30 September 2021 has been passed. As a result, the audited financial account will be presented in our next AGM. There is no more question. Okay, thank you.
Noted, Tan Sri.
Noted, Tan Sri.
Okay, let's move to next agenda for approval for the report or statement connected to the 2021 annual report.
Alright, Tan Sri, based on our previous meeting in which we discussed the performance of our report and statement, it seems that our company is competent to disclose information in accordance with accounting rules and standards.
Yes, this is correct. I agree with you, Ms. Fauzana. According to our corporate governance report, it meets all the requirements in the Malaysian Code of Corporate Governance. Additional information that we follow all the principles listed in the Malaysian Corporate Governance, which is Principle A, B, and C, as well as the other principles listed in the Malaysian Corporate Governance.
Yeah, very well, Dato' Mr. Datanai, sorry. This means we may disclose the board leadership and effectiveness, effective audit and risk management, integrity in corporate reporting, meaningful relationship with stakeholders.
All directors are fantastic. And what about the director report?
Yes, Tan Sri, you are right. It had been discussed in our previous meeting for Maju Vertiga Berhad.
Yes. I also remember that in our meeting on the matter before, our director report was presented with our audited financial statement. And as I remembered, the auditor was satisfied with the report.
Genuinely, Dato' Mohta, the auditor was satisfied with the report of the director.
Okay, so if anyone has any question about our report or claims, they are welcome to do so.
So far, no, Tan Sri. I have no issue with the financial report, financial statement report, and I think the other director also agree with me.
I think everyone is already clear about this agenda, Tan Sri.
Okay, then I hereby declare that the resolution to approve the report connected to the company financial statement for the fiscal year ending 30 September 2021 has been passed. As a result, the report pertaining to the financial statement will be given in our next AGM. Please take note that that will be handled Ms. Fauzana. Okay, let's proceed with the next item of the agenda, which is to elections of director. I believe that everyone is aware of this situation, which 1/3 of the director for the time being are elected in our AGM each year. If the number is not 3 or multiply of 3, the number closest to 1/3 shall withdraw from the office following the AGM. As a custom, we need to pick 1/3 of our board members for retirement by rotation. And hence, we will select 2 of us to resign from board during the AGM. This is ensure compliance with Company Act 2016. Could you perhaps elaborate on this, Ms. Fauzana?
Sure, Tan Sri. According to Company Act 2016, the director who might retire every year will be the one who have been longest in the office since their last election, but between people who became director on the same day, the director who will resign will be determined by lot unless they agree otherwise. In this context, I refer to the register of the director and obtain that Mr. Nathaniel and Dr. Mokhtar have been the longest serving director since the last election in 2020. As a result of the current situation, Mr. Nathaniel and Dr. Mokhtar will be directed to entire from the director of board of director at the upcoming AGM. What do you think about this, Mr. Nathaniel and Dr. Mokhtar?
Yes, Ms. Fauzana, I already know and noted about this and am ready to retire.
Yes, I also understand and agree with Ms. Fauzana. We have a total of 5 directors. So the number nearest 1/3 will retire is 2 people because the number closer to 1/3 of 5 is 2. If you look at the list, the director who stayed the longest in the office are Natanai and me, along with the Puan Sri Lim. We have been longest in the office since the director last election before. Therefore, as I'm one of the longest serving on the board as well, I will be the one to retire from the board during the AGM.
Sorry, Dato'. I forgot that Dato' Mokhtar is the one of the managing directors. So you are exempt from the retirement provision of the Company Act 2016 for the third schedule.
Oh, if that is the case, I would like to offer myself as a candidate for retirement, as I am also the longest serving director between Mr. Chairman and the previous election of director. Therefore, I will retire from the board during the AGM.
I respect the decision that have been made. As a result, Mr. Natanai and Post Relief will step down at the next AGM. Nonetheless, a departing director is eligible for election under Section 205, Subsection 5 of the Company Act 2016, unless the director is disqualified. Therefore, the retired director can be re-elected in next AGM, right?
Yes, Company Act 2016 stated that the retired director can be re-elected if the retired director agree and an ordinary resolution is passed by the member.
So that's mean that Mr. Natanai and Puan Sri Lim can be re-elected, right? It's because I can deny that both of them had served in the company for a very long time, but I believe that they are still needed to guide the company direction during this crisis.
Yes, I agree with you. Are you both willing to be re-elected, Mr. Natanai and Puan Sri Lim?
So far, I do not have any issues with being re-elected. This could be a tremendous pride for me to support and assist this firm, especially during this difficult time.
Yes, me too, Tan Sri. I do not have any issue if I am re-elected.
Okay,
I agree with
so
both of them being sorry. I
okay,
also
continue.
agree. Okay, I also agree with them being re-elected. It is because Section 205, Subsection 5 stated that retiring director shall be eligible for re-election as if he is not disqualified under this Act. Furthermore, Puan Sri Lim also agree with this re-election, right?
Okay, I would like to ask if you all agree to re-elect Puan Sri Lim as a director of the firm. Please raise your hand. Okay, so everyone agreed to re-elections of the director at the upcoming AGM. So to summarize, we will have a retired director who are Mr. Nathan Nai and Puan Sri Lim in the upcoming AGM, and we want to re-elect Puan Sri. This will be presented in next AGM for approval by the members. Are there any additional question about this? So I announce that this agenda has been complete. Okay, let's let's move to the next agenda, which is to address the director fees and benefits of the director for the next year. So any idea on this matter, Datuk Mukhtar? Maybe you have anything to clarify?
Yes, Tan Sri. Since then we are not doing well financially this year, I recommend the same amount of director fee and interest for the coming year as in the previous financial year. This is to reduce the company expenses so that the company can move more profitably in the coming year.
I couldn't agree more, Datuk, because of this MCO, Movement Control Order, due to the outbreak of the pandemic COVID-19, we had to hold our operation and have cost losses to the company. So if we increase the director's fees and the benefit, it will increase our cost. And as the board of director, we have been doing everything we can to lower the company's operational costs.
True, I agree with you on this. Raising director's fee and benefits will indicate a bigger fixed cost, which would cost us a lot of money. What about the other perspective?
I agree with that. During this tough period, we must prioritize the company capacity to survive. And when the things get better, we will succeed once more. If that happens, I believe it is an opportunity to raise the director fees and also benefits. And during this pandemic, I don't think it is necessary for us to enjoy the higher cost while so many others are still suffering to make a living.
This is true, and it's great to hear it from all of you. Is there any further question? Is there any further needs to be said in this according to this matter? So because of no objection and you all have agreed with that the director fees will be same as the last year, we will present this in next agenda. We will present this agenda in next AGM. Okay, so we proceed to the next agenda, which is regarding the resignations of the auditor, appointment of auditor, and fixing the remunerations of the auditor. Recently, as you all know, our external auditor for the almost 5 year, Ernst and Young Chartered Accountant had sent us a resignation letter which stated that they intend to not continue their audit service in our company.
Due to this resignation, is it the copy of resignation letter had been sent to Registrar Ms. Fauzana? Sorry, because I was unable to attend the recent extraordinary general meeting due to having an unavailable matter. So can you explain to me?
Yes, Dato. I already sent a copy of the resignation letter to register within 7 days of receiving the notice of that resignation as required in Section 282 of the Company Act 2016.
So due to the resignations of our present external auditor, we will need to appoint a new auditor to replace Ernst and Young Chartered Accountant. Mr. Natanai, could you please clarify to us about appointment of the new auditor?
Sure, Tan Sri. Since Ernst and Young Chartered Accountant resigned before the financial year, and which is 15 November 2021, so we need to appoint new auditor to replace them. So therefore, the audit department is suggested to appoint KPMG as our new auditor, and the proposal was brought, the proposal was brought into the recent EGM where all the auditor and shareholder had agreed to the proposal. Therefore, an appointment letter was sent to KPMG on 7 December 2021, and the KPMG firm also already sent a written consent letter to us 2 days ago. Meanwhile, based on the Section 281, Subsection 2 of the Companies Act 2016, the terms of office of the auditor of Ernst and Young Chartered Accountant has expired after 21 days from which the notice was given, which is 6 December 2021 ago.
Oh, then I strongly agree with the suggestion to appoint KPMG as our new external auditor. It is because KPMG is one of the big four accounting firm and familiar with the professional and their competence in auditing. Other than that, the firm also has a solid reputation and stable firm since a long time ago. They also are not stingy to share their opinions and experience in order to assist other clients through the process of enhancing their quality of external financial reporting or implementing the new reporting standard in their website. So, Mr. Nathan, is it the noting file with the registrar?
Not yet, Datuk. Since we have just received a consent letter from KPMG, the notice of the appointment has not been sent to the registrar. It will probably be sent tomorrow or the day after.
Alright, so any other objection regarding this matter? If
No,
no,
Tan
No,
if no, I stated that this issue have been resolved. Alright, because of our appointment of auditor is stepping down, now I want to proceed with the fixing remunerations of the auditor. Anyone is free to give your idea?
Me, Tan Sri, when it comes to the audit fees, the stand of price from year to year based on the level of responsibility, risk and ability required as well as the amount of time spent at the workplace. So I propose that the amount of audit fees be same as it was in the prior years. It is because I've heard that it will take at least 4 to 5 years to us to fully recover from this pandemic. And since our potential priority, our initial priority should be the survival of our company, the same amount of as the previous year is the best.
Yes, I also agree with the suggestion that came out from Mr. Nathaniel. We can improve the amount of audit fees when the business is running well.
I agree with both of you and see the same views as yours. Anyone have any suggestion?
No,
no,
thank
Tan Sri.
you.
Okay, therefore we will bring this resignations, appointment and fixing remunerations agenda to the next AGM. Now we proceed with the next discussion, which is to get the authorization authority to issue share under section 75 and 76 of the Company Act 2016 for the approaching annual general meeting. Ms. Fazana, could you please elaborate on this? Ms. Fazana, you are mute.
Yes, sure, Tan Sri. According to Section 75 of the Company Act 2016, the company director who will be able to issue share if the company board of director approve it through a resolution. In addition, it shall remain in the force until the conclusion of the next AGM.
Don't we get the approval at the last AGM 2020? So why do we still need to get a reapproval in this coming AGM? Ms. Fazana, could you explain more about this matter so that I can get the clear picture about this authority?
Sure, Datuk Mokhtar. The approval may be limited to specific exercise of the power or may apply to exercise of that power in general. And such approval may be unconditional or subject to the condition according to Section 76 of the Company Act 2016.
Oh, it's like that. Thanks for the explanation, Ms. Fauzana. Will there be changes in the share capital, for example, additional share? And may I know the planning share that will be authorized for this coming AGM? Is it the same as the previous AGM?
Okay, first, thank you for your explanation, Ms. Fazana. Okay, in regarding, and I would like to notify you that the share will be the share will be approved will be same as the previous AGM. So any other ones to remarks or objection concerning to this issue, please raise your hand.
No, Tan Sri.
Okay, thank you. And all right, so no comment, no objections, which means this agenda is authorized and will be presented in our our coming AGM for approval for the members. Okay, let's move to our next agenda, which is to request and alter the company constitutions and issue to the circular to the shareholder. Okay, we must to get the shareholder approval for the revisions or to the company constitutions. Could you perhaps assist me in explaining the content to the proposed modification, Ms. Fauzana?
Sure, Tan Sri. The first point is the board seek to amend the constitution by changing the clause 59 about the technology to be used for this clause purpose. The second point is that the board intends to change the constitution by eliminating the par value and share premium in its clause 110.
Thank you, Ms. Fauzana. We consider this suggestion adjustment in our most recent board meeting, which held on 19 May 2021, and we now need to verify it before bringing it to the next AGM. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we must reconsider our meeting format in order to comply with the government SOP. Further, we must retain the par value and share premium requirements in order to comply with the New Companies Act 2016, and these two matters involving in clause 59 and 110. Ms. Fazana, could you perhaps possible assist me in explaining this situation?
Sure, Tan Sri. Regarding clause 59, the technology to be used for this clause must allow members to communicate simultaneously while addressing the physical or virtual general meetings. Members who attend the general meeting remotely should use technology to participate and facilitate voting at the physical or virtual general meeting. To comply with the Company Act 2016, the corporation wishes to eliminate the par value and share premium under clause 110.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Farzana, for your explanations. Do you have any additional question about the proposed revision to the Company Act Constitution and circular to the shareholder?
No, Tan Sri.
Okay, thank you. Because of there is no question, I want to cast a vote. Please raise your hand if you agree on this. Okay, that's good. For the conclusion, based on our recent vote, the whole board agreed and approved our proposal to alter the company's constitutions and issue a circulars to the shareholder. At our next AGM, 35th AGM, we shall observe the outcome of the shareholder voting in favor of the special resolutions related to the proposed amendment. As a result, I announce that the agenda has been completed. Oh, nak stop sini ke? So we proceed with the next agenda, which is the compensations of the damage and loss indemnity.
I'm concerned about the possibility of a third party taking a legal action against me. Could you please explain this to me, Ms. Fauzana?
Sure, Mr. Yeo. According to Section 288 of the Company Act 2016, any agreement with the corporation that exempt or identify a director from liability to company for negligence, breach of duty, or breach of trust is therefore still void. On another hand, Section 289 lay forth the criteria under which a corporation may identify a director against responsibility arising from his or her behavior as a director or provide insurance to cover the director against such liability. Next, for Section 289, subsection 6 of the Company Act 2016, as stated that the corporation may identify a director against liability to any third party arising out of any acts or omission by such a director in his or her capacity as such director in Mr. Yeo's case. This means that the business director is held accountable to a third party as a result of action taken in his or her capacity as a director of the company. The company may identify him or her. I hope my explanation can give Mr. Yeo a better understanding about this identify for the third party claim.
Thank you, Ms. Fauzana, for providing such a detailed information. Now I have a better understanding.
Thank you, Ms. Fazana, for your explanations regarding this matter in this meeting. I hope everyone got clear about this matter. Okay, guys, can we take 5-minute breaks? Okay, we coming back
Sure,
after
Tansi.
5 minutes, okay?
Okay.
Okay, welcome back to our meeting. Okay, shall we continue to our next discussion?
Yes, Chansri.
Okay. For the following agenda, we will discuss the letter of demand received by our subsidiary Maju Bina Sdn Berhad from Kumpulan Kencana Berhad on November 24, 2021 about the claim for the unpaid balance about 652,500. Mr. Yu, would you mind expanding on this and proposing a solution?
Of course, Tan Sri. Maju Sdn Berhad got a letter of demand from Kumpulan Kencana Berhad for the fourth time this year on November 24, 2021. The company demand ringgit in payment of an outstanding debt due to monies from the sale of steel produced by them a years ago. Maju Bina Sdn Berhad, on the other hand, was unable to settle the loan as specified in the term of sale. The reason for this is that Maju Bina Sdn Berhad was cut off guard by the sudden liquidity crisis brought on by the COVID-19 disaster. So many of their payable and receivable are inconsistent and the operation was disrupted. If it affecting the business cash flow indirectly. As a result, Kencana Kumpulan Berhad outstanding debt was long overdue and no negotiation to alter the payment term will be entertained. Following that, the corporation requests full payment within 14 days of the 24th of November, and they stated that they would not hesitate to pursue a legal action to reclaim the money. I feel that the period allotted was so inefficient and that they have launched legal action against Maju Bina to recover the fund as of today. I respectfully urge that everyone on the board of directors provide guidance on this topic as well as financial aids from Group FIM to loan to Maju Bina Sdn Berhad in order to pay off the debt owed to Kumpulan Kencana Berhad.
In my opinion, the amount you are asking to lend is quite high for a group company. I hope you have brought this matter earlier so that we can discuss with the Kumpulan Kencana Berhad to restructure the terms of sale. This has left us tied to litigation issue that could potentially affect the company image, and also the most worrying is the perception of our shareholder.
I sincerely apologize for my carelessness, Datuk Mokhtar. I should have notified you about this situation a long time ago, but I underestimated the financial impact of COVID-19 unusual incident on Maju Bina Sdn Berhad financial stabilities.
Given that this has happened and Kumpulan Kencana Berhad has also pursued legal actions, Puan Sri Lim, can you advise us on what legal issue our subsidiary Maju Bina Sdn Berhad may face?
Sure, Datuk. A debt recovery action in the court is possible, Datuk Muhtar, based on my finding, because our debt is more than 100,000 ringgit Malaysia, but less than 1 million ringgit Malaysia. So we can be charged in session court. A writ and a statement of claim will be filed to Maju Bina Sdn Berhad, business addressed by their lawyers. Judgment in default may be entered against Maju Bina if Maju Bina's representative fails to attend the court hearing or respond to the suit. The judgment itself is a court order for the Maju Bina to pay the amount claimed in the suit as the defendant. There is a lengthy trial and examination period involved in this process, which could take up to 6 months. If we appear at the court, the case will be fast and straightforward, and the judgment application under Order 14 of the Rules of Court 2012 will be filed. If the application are approved, the judge will only refer to the document and decide the case based on that, because there will not be a trial or any examination, and this process will be much easier. It will usually only take about a month or two instead.
Thank you, Puan Sri, for your advice. Mr. Natanae, could you drive us on the legal procedure that will be related?
Sure, Datuk. Kumpulan Kencana Berhad may appeal to the courts for the implementation of the judgment against us once the court has rendered its decision. The court will then investigate Maju Bina Sdn Berhad financial situation. If we continue to refuse to appear in courts, we may be prosecuted and as an arrest warrant issued with a 12 years time limit from the date of judgment.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Natanaya, for the explanation of the legal procedure. So, as the managing director, I order Mr. Yu Waso along with Maju Bina Council to appear in court with all the relevant documents and evidence if the Kencana Group Council had made a written statement of claim. I suggest Mr. Yu to inform Maju Bina lawyers to offer a settlement and restructure the terms of payment before adjustment is made in the court. The group is preparing offer a loan with interest payment to Maju Bina Sdn Berhad. And I also suggest that we will discuss this matter further on the loan agreement in the EGM once the AGM has been finished.
Okay, thank you, Dato'. Thank you, Dato' Mukhtar. Do other director want to make any idea or any suggestion for this topic? Okay, if no, I will consider this meeting to have a conclude that the matter has been settled and Mr. Yu will take a further action based on Dato' Mukhtar proposal. Okay, let's go to our next agenda, which is to pass the resolutions to convene our 35th AGM. I would like to propose that this AGM will be held on Thursday, 20 January 2020 at the 10 a.m. Is everyone agree with the proposed date? Ms. Fauzana, could you please check to see whether our firm has anything relevant to the date?
Sure, Tan Sri. Let me check the planner first. So far, no important company event that have been scheduled for the day you indicate. I think it is okay to go ahead with the date.
Okay, it's great. How about the rest of you? Do you agree with the date and the time that we have been set? Please raise your hand if you do so.
For me, I don't have any problem and are available on the date. I can attend for both meeting until the end.
Looking to my schedule, I am available on the date. So when will the notice of coming AGM will be distributed?
Okay, so our next AGM will be held on 20 January 2022 at 10 a.m. And due to COVID pandemic, we will hold the AGM using Microsoft Teams virtual meeting, and we will continue the EGM using the same platform right after the AGM. I hope that everyone is alert about this thing.
Thank you, Ms. Fauzana. Can you prepare the notice for both AGM and EGM as soon as we end this meeting?
Sure, Tan Sri. After this, I will send the AGM notice to all of you and our shareholders.
Okay, now let's move to the next agenda, which is to review the notice of annual general meeting. I believe that Ms. Fauzana has already sent out a draft and of a notice to the annual general meeting through email to everyone. Those who didn't receive draft, you may raise their hand. So with Ms. Fauzana can send it back to you.
It seems that everyone has received the draft by email, Tan Sri.
Thank you, Ms. Fauzana. Okay, everyone. Everyone might look at the draft. As you can see, it's quite similar to the previous AGF. However, the only difference here is venue and platform. So we want to perform the meeting where we consider it's a hybrid meeting where some of us might gather in our meeting rooms and some of us might attend the AGM via online. So what do you want to say about this matter?
For me, I agree with the hybrid meeting approach, Tan Sri. So how about this?
Yes, I also agree with the plan and could proceed that way. Ms. Fauzana, may I know when the notice of the next upcoming AGM will be distributed?
Okay, so according to our constitution, notice of the meeting shall be given to the member at least 14 days before the meeting or at least 21 days prior to the meeting where any resolution should be proposed or where it is located, the annual general meeting. In other words, notice will be issued at least 14 days prior the AGM in this case, given that our AGM this time is not involving relevant special resolution.
I see. Thank you, Ms. Fauzana.
Okay, all right. So any other things that we should discuss or objection regarding to the notice draft? Is everyone satisfied with the notice draft? If no, Ms. Fauzana might finalize the notice of AGM and the notice of EGM after we already finish our meeting, since we will discuss the loan agreement in EGM after the AGM has finished.
Sure, Tan Sri. I will improve and finalize our notice of AGM and email the notice within 14 days before the meeting as well as EGM notice.
All right, thank you, Ms. Fauzana. Any objection on this agenda?
No,
Okay, then I assume that the latest notice will be approved in the next forthcoming AGM. Okay, it seems like we can solve today's agenda. So as a commentary on what happened today's meeting, Ms. Fazal, can you help us to conclude what have been discussed today?
Sure, Tan Sri. As a conclusion, we gone all over the agenda for today's meetings, and I will just read back for you. So the first agenda, the board has examined and approved the audited financial account for the year ending September 30, 2021. For the agenda number 2, the director had authorized the report and statement related to financial statement for the year ending 30 September. For the agenda number 3, we decide that Nathaniel and Puan Tan Sri Lim should retire by the next AGM. However, both directors are eligible for re-election at the next AGM. For the agenda number 4, the suggestion for the approval of the director fee and benefits was to keep the prior year because the company is still recovering from the outbreak. This idea was approved by all members and the board passed the resolution. For the agenda number 5, in response to auditor resignation, the board agreed to select KPMG as company's new auditor. Next agenda is the board approve the authorization to issue share pursuant to section 75 and 76 of the Company Act 2016, and it will represented to the member for approval at the next AGM. For the agenda number 7, proposal of amendment of the company constitution and circular to the stakeholder. For the agenda number 8, identify of the indemnity of the company. For the agenda number 9, in regard to letter of demand from Kumpulan Kencana, the board of directors agreed to prevent the worst case situation of legal concern by implementing Nathan's advice that the Maju should appear in the court if the session court requests it to avoid any additional litigation issues. Maju Bina's lawyer must submit all the essential documents as well as give Kumpulan Kencana a settlement and new payment agreement. On behalf of Maju Bina, Datuk Mukhtar already agreed to extend a loan with interest from the holding company to cover the debt repayment. For the agenda number 10, all directors agreed to conduct the 35th AGM and EGM via Microsoft Teams on January 2022. And the notice for both AGM and EGM have been reviewed and accepted. For the last agenda is about to approve the AGM notice. According to Constitution, the notice of AGM must be provided at least 21 days before the AGM, and this statement is approved by Tan Sri Yusof Jalil, our chairman.
Thank you, Ms. Fauzana, for your thoughtful conclusion. Is there no question or others matter to be discussed, or I like to seek the motions to adjourn the meeting?
I suggest that the meeting be adjourned.
I support that suggestion, Tan Sri.
Okay, so hereby I declare that the meeting had been adjourned. Thank you for making the effort to come today and stay at home, stay safe. Our meeting has ended now and everyone may leave. Thank you.